Hacksaw. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And of course, I could never do it without the Hall of Famer himself, WWE Hall of Famer, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, what's going on, man?
Not too much, buddy, but let's do one together, brother.
All right.
Oh! You never get enough hoes in,
Never.
Marcus, I don't know how many of these we've done, and, I've been pretty easygoing, I think, pretty much the whole time we've been doing these. But I got to tell you, I worked for Vince for I don't know how many years, but I never ever had him call me, 2 hours before the show. Says, Duggan, we got to get the show done today. We got to get it done in 2 hours. I'm out there on the tractor. Deborah's out there. She's waving at me. I'm out there mowing the lawn. I got the headset on. No. Marcus has to get the show in at 2 o'clock. I said, get 2:30 anyway. Let me take a shower. No, he said 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay, so folks, here we are at 2 o'clock, fresh off the tractor for Mr. Marcus. Yes, sir. I tell you, I thought working for Vince was tough, man. Holy smokes.
Well, I gotta keep you in line, Jim. It's
not that
it's a tough
wrestlers
job.
would exaggerate it all. That's part of our job. As I tell when you punch somebody back in the old days, exaggerate it. Punch her from back here. You do that in a real fight, you get killed. But in wrestling, you want the guy in the top of the arena to see it. So here you come. That's not that I ever exaggerate. Biggest fish I ever caught was about that big.
It's funny in wrestling too. You can almost telegraph it. If a guy comes at you like this, okay, hit that guy in the stomach.
Yeah, man. It was like, that's when guys were pros back in the day. Of course, you work 9 times a week, so you learn your trade. And guys like Teddy, he was 15. He was taking backdrops,
Man, he was just born ready to go. And brother, over the course of your long career, you established yourself and got a lot of fans, and you're giving back to those fans here this year. Jim, you're a busy man here in 2024, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I like to stay busy, with all these health issues. Enjoy life while you can. Things are going well health-wise. I've moved my heart checkups from every month to every 3 months, and my cancer checkups from every 3 months to every 6 months. So
wow.
Things are going good there. So, when we were, just like I said, we were up in British Columbia. We enjoyed it. We're heading out to Wyoming later on. It'll be our 3rd trip to Wyoming, which is some of the charity work. I've done a lot of charity work. We do a lot through the company for like Special Olympics and Make-A-Wish. But on my own, me and Deborah, we were on the board for the Children's Home Society in Florida for about 3 years. I had a Hacksaw Jim Duggan celebrity golf tournament for a couple of years. Had Knobs and Sags come. Crush was there. Had a bunch of NFL guys, Chris Adams. Well, not Chris Adams. Chris, whoever Crush was, what his real name was. But,
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams, But fishing, I got to tell you, I back in the day, I was working all the time. So I get a call from the company like, Duggan, we got a charity event. And I said, well, my biggest charity that I did for over 20 years was a variety telethon in Des Moines, Iowa. It was it was a 3-day event, but the actual telethon was 24 hours, So, and over the whole 24 hours, and I did it for over 20 years, they never let me sing. I have all these talented people, all these, these singers and musicians and dancers and people, they didn't know wrestling, right? And they're like, well, what do you do? I yell, ho! But yeah, we had it in the Des Moines Civic Center downtown, so all the wrestling fans come. So it was great. But also they call me, so they actually, we want you to do a charity event. I'm like, geez, I do a lot of charity. I don't have much time off. What is it? And they're like, it's a fishing tournament. And I'm like, well, I'm not much of a fisherman, And it's like, well, it's the World Sailfish Championship down in Key West for a week.
Well, all right.
Deborah's got me by the throat. Yeah, we'll make that one. Are you kidding? Holy smokes. And we lived in Florida at the time, so we took our girls with us. and we did the variety, or it wasn't variety. It was the World Sailfish Championship. So we're on these multi-million-dollar yachts out there fishing. I got to be with Wade Boggs quite a bit, who credit
Whoa.
Kurt Hitting for saving his life, which is a whole nother story. But would be on these big, huge, beautiful yachts watching television, and a guy would come in and go, fish on. I reel it in, So I caught two big sailfish over the years. But the big thing about it is the honorary chairman of this World Sailfish Championship, people from all around the world, General Norman Schwarzkopf, Don Shula, Johnny Bitch, and Hacksaw Duggan. Oh!
All right.
First time I met the General Schwarzkopf, his security was like, "Okay, buddy." He couldn't get near. It was right after the award over there in the Iraq, so he had a lot of security. He was honored to meet the general, and Johnny and I became friends. The wife and Deborah became friends. But and they gave me this view. I'm going to show you this. Look at this thing. It is heavy too. It's a
Whoa.
sailfish.
That is so cool.
They're not marlins. It's heavy as can be too. I mean, beautiful. So they only get a big one, be like 120 pounds, and they're catch and release. So it's it's a lot of fun. So it was good to go down to Key West for. I know the Duval Crawl, which that was good. We're on because I'd be on the celebrity boat, and they have people would bid to have the celebrity on them, and you'd be out all night on Duval Street partying. This was back in the day. I come right out, get on the boat. And a couple of times to be, a couple of businessmen, and they'd be on the boat, they'd be like, I'd be here with, Did you get any rubber?
And then back in action, right?
Oh my gosh, you got to say, we were chumming.
Yeah, that'll draw them in, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Did a lot of charity work. My honor, the variety telethon after the COVID, they just do it all virtual now. So I miss doing that. The World Sailfish thing is closed up. So and moved out of Florida, so I'm no longer on the board for the Children's Home Society. But did a lot of charity work over the years, man. Especially WWE. They don't get a lot of credit for what they do. A guy like Cena. What is he got the most ever Make-A-Wish
Yes.
visits? I mean, even back when I was there, we do a lot with Special Olympics, a lot with Make-A-Wish, something they don't get credit for.
There was a great picture of you out there online. I'll have to share it here in this episode. It's you and Jake in 1989, 35 years ago, and you're both holding up a little boy for March of Dimes. It's a really great photo. I'm going to share it on here, but yeah, it's cool to look back and see you guys doing your thing and giving back to your fans and all the people that really appreciate you.
Well, if you look at that picture, the kid's like this at Jake.
Terrified. It's clinging for you.
Kid's terrified. It's okay, son. It's all right, little guy.
I'll protect you from this guy.
And crying, no, like Santa,
Well, look, you're continuing to give back to your fans.
The mother came right up and grabbed the kid. Thank you.
Get him away from Jake, for crying out loud. Well, you continue to give back to your fans, Jim. This year, I'm going to run down some of the dates that we've got upcoming. Guys, cool. If you guys want more details, you've got to follow Jim on social media. But check this out for right now. He's going to be at the River City Wrestling Con on June 8th and 9th. He's heading to Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania for Slamfest, June 29th. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the 30th of June. Pittsburgh Riverhounds here in my backyard on July 6th. We're going to have to go get a Permane Brothers sandwich, Jim. Knoxville Fanboy Con, July 12th through 14th. Lakeshore Chinooks. Oh, man. I've always heard that Knoxville Fanboy Con is one of the best conventions out there for wrestlers, so I think you'll have a good time.
And if folks have never been to a con like that, they got to check it out. There's something for everybody. Years ago, when they first asked me to do a con, I was like, geez, I don't know a con. I'm like, it's a con, a great Comic-Con. I mean, you see something for everybody. Who would think they would have vintage, old-time wrestlers at those things? I mean, that's what I know. I made it. I went up. I'm like, Henry Winkler. He's like, Hacksaw Duggan.
All right. Getting recognized
like
by
the last
font.
one we were on, we were with Barbara Eden. You know, she's like 90. I said, Barbara, I thought a lot of you when I was about 13.
That's very.
I developed my grip thinking about Barbara, I'll tell you.
Got
But
X off
yeah,
your
there's all
puberty.
kinds of, and then they have state of the, guys that are hot now on television and in movies. You know what? I don't recognize a lot of them because I don't watch many movies, but a lot of the top guys and TV guys are wrestling fans and they're Hacksaw fans. You know, so Deborah, she's like a social butterfly. She zips around. She meets everybody. You know, Shatner, we were at the green room and Shatner's sitting over there and he's got a bad reputation. And Deborah's like, hey, Shatner, I'm going to go say hello. I'm like, Deborah, don't bother the guy. You know, he doesn't want to be. She went over, boom, she sits down. She's talking away to him. She's like, Jim, come over and meet William Shatner. I mean, he was pleasant as could be, you know. But on those things, she meets everybody. And then she brings him over. And she's like, hey, this guy, he was on some TV show. He's a big wrestling fan, you know. And the young guys, I watched you when I was a kid, Hacksaw. So I'm like, hey, talk to my daughter on the phone. And my daughters are all fans of the current people, so they're great. Comic Cons are fun, and in costumes, I joke. I see you see like movie quality costumes, Predator, Chewbacca. I mean, people spend a fortune on their costumes, and then a kid walks by with a box on his head. You know, it makes no difference. Everybody has fun. You know, I did the New York City Comic Con. New York City jam packed with people. People bump into you. They go, excuse me. You're like, wait, I'm in New York City. I think I get the bird or something. Yeah. Comic Con, everybody has fun. So just a little quick recommendation for not only Fanboy Comic Con, but any Comic Con in the area. If you've never been, check one out. They're a lot of fun.
Man, absolutely. If you've never been to a Comic Con, you're missing out, not just on the costumes, but like Jim said, it's, actually the person who put over this Knoxville Fanboy Con to me was Arn Anderson, because he goes to it a lot. And he was saying just what a great experience he had there. And really, you're going to find that at any con that you can go to. So if you've got one in your area, make sure you go to it. And look, go to the Lakeshore Chinooks baseball team, or maybe it's a soccer team. I don't know, some kind of a team over there in Wisconsin on July 19th. Jim will be there. Extrava Slamza in Pryor, Oklahoma, July 27th. Boise, Idaho Hawks on August 3rd.
That's going to be another trip. We're going to stop and smell the roses out in Idaho. You know, Deborah stands underneath the sign. Idaho.
Oh, God. Man, I'm a little slow on the uptake this week, Jim. It took me a sec, but I got there.
Yeah, but we're gonna spend a few days out there and enjoy the countryside out there. Yep.
And then you get to go to Cocoa Beach on August 9th. Come on, you can't beat that. And then
that's right by Titusville. We used to live in Titusville, Florida.
Oh, beautiful! So you're going to be back
for
in your
20
old
years.
stomping
We
grounds.
lived in Titusville. That's right there at Cocoa. So hopefully see a lot of old friends from Titusville. I had a gym down there, Hacksaw Duggan Muscle and Fitness.
That's right.
Catchy name, huh?
And
you want to talk about a money pit? Oh my God!
that is what I've heard people say
I told you about my grand opening, right? For my grand opening, Hogan, Macho, Beefcake, and the Nasty Boys.
Man, and that's a great way to start it.
Sub sandwich.
What a payoff!
Yeah. I try to get knobs and sags to stay at home. They were kind of it's a gym.
That's probably why things didn't work out with the gym, knobs and sags.
Yeah, I'll blame it on them. Yeah,
you'll be back in Wyoming, in Cody,
brother.
Wyoming.
You got the right idea. You'll be a great wrestler. Shit, you'll go far. Go transfer in the heat.
That's right. Fade the heat to the Nasty Boys.
I don't know who did it.
Back in Cody, Wyoming, for Celebrities with a Cause on August 16th through 18th. Madison, Alabama on the 29th. And guys, listen, if you want to book Hacksaw for your event coming up, he's got some dates available in September, October, and beyond. Go ahead and hit up Jim at bookhacksawduggan.com for more booking opportunities. There you can find more information. Jim, it's awesome to see you're still out making the towns all these years later, huh, brother?
It's humbling, Marcus, to go out there and see these folks. You know, especially everybody's money's tight. To pay money for parking some places, to pay to get in, to stand in line. to buy a picture or an autograph, it's humbling, you know. Yeah, and many times I tell the story of the big, rough, tough guy that worked his way through line, and he's eyeballing me kind of hard, you know, and I'm checking on my security, you know. Finally gets out, he grabs my hand, Hacksaw Duggan. Me and my dad, we watched it together. I got up, gave him it was amazing how emotional some folks get. It's humbling that wrestling, not myself, but wrestling in general, had that effect on that many people around the world. I mean, it's unbelievable. Around the world, wrestling is so popular, especially that golden age. And folks back then, it was a part of their tradition. You know, they'd go to church, they'd go home, they'd watch wrestling. You know, everybody hears a story about grandmom, and everything else is okay, but when there's wrestling on, knock it off. I mean, it's and then so you know, people come up and hey, thank you, Hacksaw. I'm like, no, golly, are you kidding? Thank you. Look at the life I have for me and my family from these folks who give their hard-earned money. Yeah, I go out there and I'll bust my butt, and that's why it ticks me off so bad. These jack-offs to sit there and sign an autograph.
Don't even look
You
up.
know, hey, how's your day? Who's your my favorite? Who's your favorite wrestler? Who do you like nowadays? You know, AEW or WWE, you know? And if they like WrestleMania, everybody liked WrestleMania this year, that's for sure. I bet 99%, because usually folks are pretty critical.
Yep.
But folks like WrestleMania this year.
That's because Cody finished his story. I think a lot of people were excited to see that Cody finally won that championship, a title that his father never got to hold. So I know that one meant a lot to him. And yeah, man, it's really cool. You know, I was talking to Jake about this at one point. Like a lot of these folks, they grow up without a strong parental figure or like a strong father figure, but they grow up watching you and consistently. Hacksaw Duggan's out there and he's doing the right thing. And man, it meant a lot to people growing up, and now they connect you with their childhood. I mean, what a legacy!
Well, yeah, thank you, man. It's, you know, that was just part of that group. Like I said, I'd be getting off the plane. People were like, it's Hacksaw Duggan. Hogan's behind me. Get out of the way, Hacksaw. It's Hulk Hogan. So you got to know where you are on the totem pole, you know. And so we're not all lead singers in the band. I've been back there playing the drums for 40 years. I've been doing the Ringo deal. Belt it out, Hulkster.
Well, look, you're the lead singer here on this show, and brother, the folks want to hear you sing because we're doing another Hacksaw Mailbag. It's our 8th edition of the Hacksaw Mailbag, where we put our listeners in charge of the show with their questions. We got a bunch of them, and we'll get to as many as we can, folks. But again, as always, if we miss it this time, we're going to roll the questions over to the next episode. So make sure you listen next time because your question might just be on this list.
I just have to look down. Speaking of transferred heat, I showed you my 9mm. This one is a 9mm Browning. Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
This back in Serpico. Back in the day, 1980, Serpico came out. I had to get a 9mm Browning.
You've had that since 1980.
Every day. Incoming. Every week I have to show you a different one of my guns.
I love that idea. And by the way, I love the movie Serpico, so it's really cool. You've had that since 1980.
If you remember, he went in, the guy says, what are you fighting? When he bought the 9mm, says, what are you fighting, an army? He says, no, just a precinct. Because it had so many shots. Back in the day, that was back in the 80s. And that's the weapon he bought, a 9mm Browning high-powered.
Man, that thing is awesome and cool to know that you got that because of Serpico. Like, man, it's neat to be able to connect those two dots.
That's why I got the 44 was Dirty Harry. The one, I'll have to show you that I held the guy that broke in the house. That was the old Model 29, the Dirty Harry, the big 6-inch. Make my day.
Man, those are some great movies. And actually, I'm going to skip down a little bit because we've got a question related to that.
Oh, cool.
This question is from Domino
We're playing
Downs.
that segue.
Yeah, this worked out great. Yeah, you had this in mind, didn't you, Jim? Domino Downs asks, what movies and TV shows are you into? Oh, wait a minute. Before we answer that question, what do we have here?
What's happened coming up? is the wrestling buddies. I tell
Jim's got a
you,
little
these,
buddy.
and that buddy, yes, thank you, buddy. And they got the abs right.
That
They
looks
got the old
good.
one eye closed. They got the 2x4 in the back. I don't know where it's coming out of.
It looks
I think that
tucked
might
into
have
your
been a
trunks.
shot. I don't know. But these wrestling buddies are fun. Of course, what is it? Shophacksaw.com. Thanks very much.
Hacksaw
Fun for everybody.
hacksawjimdugganshop.com. So look, it's those old wrestling buddies were really popular in like the late 80s and 90s, and Jim never got one, but he's got one now, ladies and gentlemen. You can get it at hacksawjimdugganshop.com. And by the way, you don't have to take your ass over to a Toys R Us to get it. You can get it right there online and get it signed by Jim. It's hacksawjimdugganshop.com. Get over there and check it out.
I
So
know we
yeah, Jim.
usually plug that at the end, Marcus. We get the 2x4 in, but Deborah's heading out to get in the sun. She just attacked me with it.
Yes, we will talk about the 2x4, which is the perfect addition to any wrestling collection. We'll hit that one at the end. But yeah, Domino Downs wants to know, and I don't know how often you get asked this question, Jim. I'm sure most of them relate to wrestling, but Domino wants to know what movies and TV shows you're into.
Oh, well, I just watched Cocaine Bear.
What'd you think of that?
It's hilarious. I had no idea what it was going to be. I just watched that. I enjoyed that, and we just finished watching. Now the girls got me before I can watch Netflix and all the other streaming things. Is Resident Alien, and
Oh, okay.
that was actually we enjoyed that. But of course, I'm an old school guy, so the Duke. I grew up with John Wayne. My dad take me to the drive-in. We'd watch John Wayne, and so I like those kind of movies. Clint Eastwood.
Man, you can't go wrong. And
But
you
I
were
did
talking.
enjoy Cocaine Bear. I got to tell you, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Is that what you would think, man? And then Resident Alien is funny.
Man, that Cocaine Bear, it was like, at first it's like, oh man, this is a pretty serious, violent movie, but some of the comedy in that is just so
Oh,
outrageous.
I won't give it away, but when the guy steps in front of the sheriff, boom. Stuff you wouldn't expect, that's for sure. It catches you off guard.
Go out of your way to
Or
check
people
that
like, you don't watch wrestling? I'm like, that'd be like a cop watching cops.
out.
I don't want to watch wrestling, no.
You lived it for 40 years.
Yeah.
And next up, we've got Peter D, who asks, are the really heavy guys, like One Man Gang, Bundy, etc., really strong or just really heavy? You would hear commentators talking about their great power, but was that just talk?
That's a good question. Some were strong and some weren't. One Man Gang was a powerful guy. Earthquake was a powerful guy. Got Bastion Booger. I'm trying to think else who was heavy. It was not Umanga. Was big. He was strong. Yes, usually size does equal some strength. It doesn't make a bunch of strength, but usually in general, size equals strength. The strongest I was, I had a 505 bench. I weighed about 300 pounds. That was the biggest I got,
Man, 505 bench, 200 pounds over your body weight.
But I was gassed up too. Yeah, I was under gas, So
were you on the
now,
gas during
now I'm on heart medication.
So they might be connected.
Kind of see the parallel there,
Were you ever accepting anything from that George Zahorian fella? I know that he was backstage giving it out a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Back in the day, the old WWW. I was back in the prehistoric days, that WWs.
All those W's.
X, it would be all the way to WXYZ. Yeah, but Zahorian would come in. He had little, those doctor bags, those black doctor bags, and you could buy what you wanted. And of course, I was new to the business. I was a pretty straight kid all through college. I was an athlete. I concentrated on playing I thought I'd play in the NFL for 10 years. I was a football player. I had my girlfriend and I played football. If you didn't like it, we'll fight. I mean, it was a whole different character. I mean, who I was. I had real short hair. I didn't like people with long hair. But I kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh,
Have
we were talking about
another
George
one of these.
Zahorian.
Thanks, honey.
So yeah, whenever kind of shit went down with that Zahorian guy, and he wound up going to prison during the whole Vince McMahon lawsuit, were you afraid at all that that
No,
things were going to
I
crumble?
was so green then. Yeah, when I came through, like I bought a couple times, like I bought some Valium, and they give you. He had a little box that'd come in, so I didn't really know what drugs. That's when I was real green. Since then I went to Hawaii, and that's when I started smoking pot. And drinking and partying. Then I went to Georgia, and I living with Terry Gordy. The hinges came off. A to Z back then with Gordy. We covered it all. But yeah, I was a pretty straight kid until I got into wrestling.
Peter's got a follow-up question. It's a pretty good one. He says, "Hi, Hacksaw. Were you ever contacted by ECW after you left the WWF in the 90s? What did you think about their brand? Thanks."
Nope. I saw a little of them. I really didn't watch them. They never contacted me. I wasn't an ECW kind of guy. I'm not an extreme guy. Back in the day, maybe. But by the time I had finished with WW, I wasn't going to, like Terry, Funk. He's out there doing stuff. Yeah, no, and that was pretty live. Now, and I haven't heard from AEW. I guess they got Jake down there, Big Show, a couple of guys, and I thought they had me come down and wave the flag for him from somebody. In and out. Any rub with the company is great. But not this past year, but the year before out in Los Angeles, they brought me in for the Hall of Fame, and just that little rub with the company. This is it's important.
Oh
Otherwise,
yeah,
people, that's the line. He ain't dead. Holy shit.
After you did a little something with the Acclaimed on the Jericho Cruise, not this year, but the year prior, you came out there and you were kind of partnered with the Acclaimed, and you wound up hitting Billy Gunn's, one of Billy Gunn's kids with the 2x4. I was like, oh man, just a matter of time before old Hacksaw's on AEW TV, but not yet, brother. Maybe down the road. I don't know
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I think Mid South Jim Duggan could have fit well in ECW. Would you ever do a thumbtack match, Jim?
No. No. No, I wouldn't do a barbed wire match. I wouldn't do that. Cutting my head was about as extreme as I was going to get.
You
And
know,
I wasn't going to get the arms, and I wasn't going to get the eyebrow or the ears. I wasn't going to cut my throat. It was a job. Like DiBiase said, here's the way Duggan got juice.
That does make me
You
wonder.
can tell, yeah, I messed up a little bit, but it's not, Dusty or Brody or somebody. Uh, and, that's cool. Those guys did it, but it's pro wrestling. It's not MMA. No matter what you do, people go, that's fake. Boom, boom, son of a bitch. That's fake. And you ain't going to change their mind. And if they do believe it, shit, they miss a guy by that much. That's real as shit, so you're not going to change people's minds.
Yeah, you could always tell the guys that weren't blading it in the right direction. You're supposed to go with the grain of your skin, but guys like Brody and Dusty, you could tell they were swiping down.
Oh,
And man,
and
yes,
plus, the more scar tissue you get, the bigger your blade. At first, you're like, "Where's your blade, Doug?" I'm like, "Here it is."
it's like hair thin.
And, Brody come out, he's like, "Here, Duggan, here's your blade for tonight."
Oh
And
man,
don't ever let anybody cut you. What the hell? They have nothing invested. The more juice, the better. They'll cut your throat. Yeah. But
yeah,
and
especially
also,
back
the
in the
bigger
day.
the show, the bigger the blade.
Mm.
Going into the Superdome, I had a much bigger blade than going into Jackson, Mississippi.
As I was putting together the notes for 1984, we're going to cover on the next episode that we do surrounding your time in Mid South in '84. That you actually did participate in a barbed wire match. I think it was some kind of a tag match, a tornado match, or something like that.
It'd be
But I'm gonna
interesting.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you weren't
But I worked the hell out of the apron.
right. Like,
I can work the hell out of the apron. USA, USA.
I have a
You
feeling you were
got
the
it, brother.
hammer.
Keep it going.
I have a feeling you were more of the hammer than the nail in that match. The guy that you
Yeah.
were working against probably went into it. Dave Humphreys is up next. Did WWF ever consider turning you heel? Unless my memory is faulty, at his Superstars taping in '93, I remember you getting frustrated with Kamala over a loss against the Head Shrinkers, and it felt like you were setting up a heel turn.
No, I think they realized that the character was working. They didn't have to do much for it, you know. Excuse me. The USA was coming from the heart. The folks saw it. They didn't have to put a whole lot of behind it. They didn't have to put a lot of resources into me. So you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Unlike WCW, let's turn them Team Canada. You know, people, especially back then and even now, people want to cheer USA. And when I was out there, they could tell it was my honor to be out there waving our flag. And when I was cheering USA, it was coming from my heart. And that's why I lasted so long.
Now, I always hear guys say, like, oh, it's way easier being a heel than it is a baby face. Way more fun to be a heel than it is to be a baby face. Was there any point during that run where you were like, you know, it might be fun to be a heel?
No, I was a heel in the beginning, you know, with a Rat Pack and DiBiase. And but I enjoyed being a babyface. I mean, you know, of course, I joke. I said the biggest competition on the babyface, the good guy side, is for mirror space. How do I look? Got any of that hot stuff? Got any more oil?
Did you put baby oil on ever, Jim?
Oh shit! I can't put baby oil on.
I think I knew the answer.
I put middle-aged men on oil on. No, I wasn't an oil guy, you know, and hot stuff was common for a while. People would squirt this hot shit on, man, and it'd burn your eyes as hell. A lot of guys. I didn't want to work with anybody who put it on. Of course, Andre didn't want any oil. You know, when Macho was oiling up one time when they first started, we're all playing cards, and Andre had him look down. He got his cards. He goes, "I do not like oil." Macho went over and dropped the oil into a trash can, you know. Everybody's like, yeah, I do that too.
Man,
And then they had great matches. But yeah, I wasn't an oil guy.
The hot stuff, is that...
or a heel. You know, I had it's easier being a heel. Babyface can kind of call the match, control the tempo. You know, a heel just keep attacking, listen to it. You know, I had the opportunity to work with DiBiase as a learning experience. So like we said, any of the second generation guys were just that much more polished.
Jason Bayless is up next. Hypothetically, what would have been your ideal theme music to have in WWF had you not gotten the one we've all come to know and love? So, Jim, any song, even a copyrighted song, if you could pick anything, what would you select?
Yeah, well, they were using that other one, man. It was it's a marching song. Dun, 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 dun.
The Washington Post.
I like that
song is
one,
called.
man. I don't think when they put that whole thing on there, I'm like, I like I was having a good time. I'm back there marching around. Yeah, and then they put the hoe and put that together, and of course people know that. But yeah, I did like that marching theme. You know, current music, I'm not much of a music guy. You know, though I know a lot of musicians. You know, actually, the one place I did sing was at Farm Aid with Willie Nelson.
Wow, you sang it for me?
Yeah. I don't know if they turned my mic off or not, but I was me and Deborah were at Farm Aid with the Nasties, and Willie's last song, maybe "The Circle Be Unbroken," and we're in the wings, and he's like, "Come on out, man!" And man, of course, back then I'd go, "May the circle be unbroken." Anyway, cut that guy's mic off. Holy shit!
Not a lot of people got to be
Yeah,
on
Willie's
stage.
a big wrestling fan, man. Willie, a lot of people are, and Knobs knows Willie. Knobs and Willie are friends.
Wow, Okay, that's
That's a
incredible,
whole
man.
other story we'll have to do some other day. How Knobs and Willie are friends.
I'm starting to think what we're gonna need to do is a hacksaw karaoke episode one of these days.
Yeah, I can't say a joke. I went. No, I did go down to Hulsters and sing.
Did you?
At Clearwater. Yeah, I get along with Hogan. And we were down in Clearwater with the. He was down at his karaoke bar I went in.
Hogan's
And
Hangout.
yeah, but I did Janis Joplin. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes? How bad can you screw it up, right?
Now, what music were you into back in the day? Like, if you could pick any popular artist from that era to, choose one of their songs for your entrance.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I wouldn't even. I didn't listen to music that much, tell you the truth. Uh, Led Zeppelin, I guess, Physical Graffiti.
Oh, cool.
Some, yeah, like that's the one album I can remember. I couldn't pick a song out of it, but yeah, Deborah will tell you. I don't listen to the radio very often. I'm not, very musical.
Are you like a talk radio guy when you're in the car?
I listen to a little news, but yeah, I don't like commentary. I like news.
Oh, okay.
Most news shows are commentary now. Either going this way or that way. Give me
Right.
the news. What's happening?
Next up, we've got Cam Aries, who asks, "Have you spent any time around Bruno Sammartino?" I'm actually wearing a Bruno shirt today.
No, I haven't, but I was very, very impressed with Bruno Sammartino. When I was a young kid and coming into the WWF, he was still working. So I was in the dressing room with him. But of course, even then, he was a kind of on a pedestal, and I was Jabroni Joe sitting in the back corner with my mouth shut, and just observing Bruno. But then later on, and when he came back, and the most interaction I ever had with him, there's a popular picture that Deborah actually took of everybody backstage. It was Bruno and DiBiase and me and Nikolai, and we're all sitting around talking. And that's one of the times I really listened to Bruno. And he had quite a story. He came out of Italy. He had to hide from the Nazis. I mean, holy smokes. Puts everything in perspective. You're like, I had a bad day. Well, I was hiding from the Nazis.
And then he comes to America and becomes one of the most popular athletes on the face of the planet. Just
On the
incredible.
face of the planet, man. And what a physical specimen. Even, and he stayed straight the whole time. He was a clean cut, all American kind of guy. He lived the role. He was a stereotype kind of guy. And that's why he was such a great champion.
Now, you had mentioned coming into that locker room and you're just a greenhorn, as they say, and, kind of probably not exactly at ease in that setting. Back in the day, what was the etiquette like whenever a young guy like you would come into a new locker room? Are you going around shaking hands, try to keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
What
yeah.
do you do?
That's and even to when I was still doing working at WWE, that still was kind of a common practice where a guy would come in and go around and shake hands. But I know, as in, coming out of a football background, I came into the WWF locker room and I was working with either Johnny Rods or Jose Estrada. I think it was Johnny. And anytime I see anybody who sees Johnny Rods, I tell Johnny I'm sorry. Because he had to work with me and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. That was big Jim Duggan with the short hair, clean shaven, had a mustache, red and black trunks. I didn't know shit. And anyway, I came in the dressing room and, football dressing room, there's a newspaper. I picked a newspaper up and went over and sat down. That's not proper etiquette. It wasn't my newspaper.
Uh,
Johnny Rods' newspaper. That was a big deal.
did he
And
come chew you
Stan
out?
Hansen came over and kind of schmoozed it. We almost got out of hand. Johnny and Jose, they both got up. And I was really unaware what I did. So now I'm pissed off too. Well, fuck you guys too. Hey, newspaper, and Stan came over and schmoozed it all over. But that wasn't the proper etiquette. Wrestler, back in the day, you got to go, hey, brother, how you doing? Look, see paper. I grabbed the paper and then, but yeah, different. And it's funny because in football, it's a locker room. In wrestling, it's a dressing room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder why that is.
It's more theatrical dressing.
I see.
That's what I don't know whoever came up with the deal, but yeah, it's especially coming out of a locker room, you come in, you go, "Where's the locker room?" People are like, "Well, the locker room's over there, but the dressing room's over here."
You were coming into the company during this was 1982, if I remember right. So you were coming into the company during like a pretty weird era when I don't know if did Roddy Piper ever tell you the story of the first time he came to the WWF? What happened to him?
I think so. Tell me which one.
Well, so he got the opportunity. He came in, and part of his gimmick was the bagpipes. So he comes in, and I think he was in Madison Square Garden, and somebody stuffed his bagpipes with toilet
Stuffed his
paper.
bagpipes on him. Yep, they
So
stuffed
yep,
his bagpipes.
they didn't work, and he went out there and made an ass of himself, and they didn't invite him back for a long time after that.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
like a
and then
really competitive place to be at the time.
yeah, it's still that kind of competitive, but they don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Hmm.
Dino Hernandez. Gino was a big star, would have been a huge star for WW, but went up there. He didn't fit in with the group, and boom, he got ostracized and didn't last long. Hard to last. I mean, it's New York, brother. New York, New York. You make it there, you can make it anywhere, brother. It's the big leagues, caps and sleeves, and it's just not your ring work. It's just not your personal life, which is a big part of it, but it's also behind the screen. It's a total package. I mean, some guys are great workers but can't talk on camera. Some guys are great workers, can talk on camera but can't handle life on the road. It's some guys have all three but can't handle the office. It's a unique stew of things that work and hard because everybody wants one of those spots. Everybody wants Hogan's spot and the spot below him. And the guy is there. I'm hanging on like this, You're not taking my spot easily. So it's the best of the best. That's the guys up there, even nowadays. The guys on there are the best in the world at what they do. If they're not there long.
Right. And a whole other element back then too, because there was no guaranteed contracts. It's man, if somebody else is coming in the door, they're coming for your job, and if they make more money, that might mean that you make less. So, boy, it got to
It,
be a tough
that
seat
was
to be a new guy there.
still was that carnival type atmosphere where the people were the marks and the guys would be in the car. Look at them stupid marks out there buying tickets. What kind of mentality is that? I mean, it was a transition from where wrestling came from to where it is now. Of course, it's a multi-million worldwide business. But right then, it was cool to see that transition.
Yeah,
I'm doing Houma, Louisiana in some high school gym. And then I'm in the Silverdome in front of 93,000 people. What the hell happened there? Jesus.
that's why talking to you and DiBiase and Jake is really interesting because you guys got to experience both sides of it, the very carny side of it during your early days, and then you move into the more entertainment side, a corporate side of professional wrestling, later on in your careers. So it's cool to talk to you guys because we really get the full perspective from you.
And that wasn't just New York. You were talking about what they did to Piper in New York. You go into any new territory. New guy into any new territory is a threat. Nobody's happy to see you because you're coming in and somebody's leaving that's been there for 2 or 3 years or everybody's buddy. Yeah, it's a tough racket.
Next up, we've
That's
got
why people who say, Hacksaw, you got any advice for my son? He wants to be a wrestler. My daughter, she wants to be a wrestler. I said, oh, yeah, I got some great advice. Get golf clubs. That's where the money's at. 4.
You don't have to take any bumps on the
A
golf
lot
course either.
easier on the body. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Martin J. Smith is up next. I only just stumbled on this gem. Any good stories to share on it? And he shared a picture of pro wrestlers versus zombies.
Oh, yeah, right. Because we did Legend House together. Me and Piper, we became best friends over Legend House. Our families are friends. We did time out in California with him. But anyway, so I'm at home and I get a call from Piper. He's like, Duggan, you want to do a movie? Like, shit, Piper, are you kidding? They live. I mean, I'd love to do a movie. I'm like, we're flying out to California. He goes, no, it's going to be in West Virginia. Oh, okay. Yeah, Parkersburg, West Virginia. I'm like, well, cool. So, I fly into Parkersburg and people say it was like a B movie. It was more like a D movie. It's kind of like the guy had his own personal home camera going around. But it was good. It was Matt Hardy, Kurt Angle came in for a day. He did a shoot. Me and Piper, Shane Douglas, and I wish I could think of the young guy that took most of the bumps because I see him on Indies. I can't think of his name. He never got to break. Good working kid. But anyway, so we fly in and we're going to do the only thing is we had to do it in the middle of the night because the zombies attacked the wrestling show. You know, and so Kurt, he gets attacked as soon as he gets out of the car, or almost. He pulls some guy, he's wrestling some guy, and he pulls his leg off. He's like, "What?" And the zombies get them. Anyway, so now, well, of course, the company they saved a whole lot of money on zombie makeup because they just did it right there in Parkersburg. So it was just come as you are. Those people in Parkersburg were great. The police, everybody, they sent food. Some of the places, local restaurants sent food and everything. But anyway, so now it's towards the end, and me and Shane Douglas, the zombies are chasing us. And these zombies are fast. They're not these kind of walking. They can run, the zombies, So me and Shane are running. Shane gets to the door. Boom, he opens the door. Boom, locks me out. True to life. So I'm like, Shane, open the door. Here come the zombies, man. Here they come. So I got my 2x4. Boom, one zombie. Boom, two zombies. Three zombies. Four. I'm harvesting zombies. Finally, I go to hit another zombie. A zombie grabs my 2x4 from behind and pulls. And I turn around and the zombie. And people are like, well, I never seen a zombie do that before. And then they're not only fast zombies, they're very smart zombies too, They chose the 2x4 out and they hog piled me, right? So I was able to choreograph the thing. 3, 2, 1. Everybody takes a bump off me. Boom, I get to the door, they grab me, they pull. I don't know if I should give the story away.
Oh, it's been a couple years. I think we're safe.
Okay. And they drive me back in, they attack me, and they turn me into a zombie. So we're doing the read through the next day's shoot, right? They got the director, the cameraman, and me and Piper. As Piper finds Duggan as zombie. Piper kills Duggan, but feels bad about it. That's some great direction, Piper, I tell you. But yeah, we had fun. What the hell? It was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, and I did a few of the premieres, man. They obviously weren't big premieres, but the folks who put their money into it, did some local premieres, and some people enjoy it. Even my daughter's like, wait, Piper's got on 2 different shirts in the same day. He's got like a red shirt on, a green shirt, and a red shirt. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, nobody following the continuity, I guess.
Yeah, but it was fun to do. I haven't done. I've read for like the Water Boy, and I tried it. But never got. I did a couple TV shows. Did Super Sloppy. People said I was a ringer for the Geico commercial.
The caveman.
Hey, that's not the one I'm talking about, brother.
No, you meant the gecko. Oh man, well, guys, go find Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. It's a fun flick, and hopefully we're gonna get a sequel, maybe like Pro Wrestlers versus Vampires or something down the road, right, Jim?
Well, shoot, better get it while you can. I told you that's when I was in the hospital last time. Jake called me, goes, Duggan, you can bump up your prices.
Yeah, Jake, he's good at putting things into perspective like that.
Yeah. Well, shit, I lost money on him first of the year. I'm like, shit. He made it.
Next up, we've got Little Mikey with a couple, actually a couple questions in a row here about Hercules Hernandez. First, Little Mikey asks, was Hercules mean in real life?
Hercules, I think he was just not comfortable around people. I don't think he was mean. I just don't think he was very social.
Mm.
He didn't know how to interact with people. I don't know what his background was or anything about him. But yeah, he was fine if you knew him, but I just see him interacting with people. It was like just a struggle for him. I don't know why, but something in his background. Which is a big part of our business. We're interacting with people all the time, and but I mean, then that may have been one of the reasons he had trouble. But drugs is the main problem.
Yeah, maybe he just kind of had trouble with like the fame aspect of it, like people kind of fawning over him, made him a little bit
Well,
uncomfortable.
it's like I said, it's all relative. You're not that big of a star.
Right.
No matter who you are. I mean, seeing the guys like that, okay, Rock, have a little chip. Hogan, you can have a chip on your shoulder. That's why I do some of these Comic Cons sometimes, and these guys come in. One of the AWA kids came up, and I thought he was a guy looking for an autograph. I don't watch the show, right? I'm like, yeah, there he goes. No, I'm working tonight. I go,
Oh shit! Sorry, brother.
well, stand up when you're talking to me.
That's before we get to this next Hercules question. That is something that gets brought up a lot nowadays. I'd love to hear your opinion on it, Jim. The height of wrestlers nowadays. Back in the day, everybody was a cartoon character, this big, overwhelming, like you. You're whatever, 6'4", 6'5", a big man. Nowadays, a lot of these guys are under 6 feet tall. Like, do you think it's a big deal that these wrestlers don't have that big, over the top look anymore?
Well, I think it's a different type of show now. Now it's a TV show. Back then it was more an arena show.
Mm.
So when you're sitting in the arena and Nikolai Volkov and Barry Darsow walk through the crowd, you're going, holy shit, look at those guys, Where now it's a television show, you don't really see them physically, and it's more a flying show. I think it's changed, from brawlers from very few flyers, Jimmy Snuka, maybe Ricky Morton, a couple of guys like that, to more brawlers. So now there's more flyers and very few brawlers. That's my
Gotcha.
line.
Okay.
People ask, what's your favorite move? I said, I kick and punch. I carry a 2x4. What do you mean? What's my favorite move? Shit. It's like asking me how many matches I've won.
Which a guy your size, that's really kind of all you need because you're a big guy, and it's like, man, you can devastate somebody with punches and kicks. Where like some of these smaller guys probably need more of a
Well,
move
like I
set.
said, it all depends. You stand next to Rey Mysterio, you stand next to the Big Show. It all depends who you stand next to, brother.
All
Even
relative.
back when I was 300 pounds, people go, oh, you're a big guy. I'm like, no, you should see the big guys.
Now,
And
would
if
you have
there's a
ever?
giant in our business, from Yokozuna, Umaga, Big Show, Kali, Andre, they're like, Duggan, get your 2x4. They got to wrestle every giant there is. Holy shit.
Now, would you have ever had a problem putting over a guy that's like whatever 5'8", 5'10"?
No, I never had a problem. Yeah, I know when I first started, I would have. When I first started, I'm like, when they go, I was a bad guy. I'm like, well, I'll get beat. I did do the 1, 2, 3, and I jump right up. And I'll do that, but I'll never beg. I'm not going to beg. That's shit. I'm part of the Rat Pack. Don't hit me. Don't ask the crowd. Then kick him in the groin.
See,
Yeah. So
I was.
yeah, it's not you. It's yeah. I'd put anybody. Well, I have. Are you kidding? From Disco Inferno to shit, they were using me to build everybody. Anybody come in, especially WCW. Let that be Alex Wright. Are you kidding? I took bigger dumps than Alex Wright. Let's put Alex Wright over. Holy shit! I mean, holy shit. And you snored him back in the day. Alex Wright. Fuck. And he
No,
didn't want to do the job, right? He's like, I know they're.
I never understood that perspective. Anybody now? It's a show, right? So if you were an actor and somebody said like, "Hey, you get killed in this scene," would you ever be like, that doesn't work for me, brother?
Well, it might work for Hogan or Macho or somebody like that, and maybe I didn't take business serious enough. I wish if I had a probably regret, that might have been something that I didn't take business as serious as most guys did. I was enjoying it and partying and having a good time. And I saved my money. I didn't buy 5 Rolexes and 2 Mercedes and have 3 wives. So I say, man, it's been a good business that way. But like, I didn't invest a whole lot in my gear. I had like 3 or 4 pair of boots, 5 or 6 pair of trunks. When they put me in the Hall of Fame, they're like, Duggan, what can you send us? I'm like, some 2x4s.
I'll go to Home Depot if you want.
Yeah, I do have a nice collection of 2x4s. People have given me over the years. I mean, nice carved, engraved, painted, stained. One from Iraq, from the troops over in Iraq. I mean, I got some nice 2x4s.
Well, that actually is a great transition to the next question about Hercules. We've got this from Jason Williams. In 1988, I believe, WWF had a house show in Bismarck, North Dakota. The people I was with made a 2x4 with hacksaw burned into it with other decorations, and we ran into Hercules near the concessions, and he said he would make sure you got it. Did you ever get it?
Well, I don't remember that particular one, but I'm sure Herc would bring it back to the dressing room, so I probably do have it. It may be one of my collection out there. I have the garage. I think I showed folks on YouTube upstairs. Celia puts a lot of my stuff up in the spare bedroom because you walk into some guys' houses, it's like a shrine. They got pictures of everything. Every trophy, every plaque. A little place to genuflect when you come in. I mean, I won this in '92. There's hardly any wrestling stuff down here. I'm trying to look if there's any. Oh, but upstairs they put this stuff. But
Man, it might be interesting one of these days on YouTube if you're ever out in the garage and you feel like taking a picture or filming or something. We'd love to see your collection of 2x4s out there. A better look at
well,
it. Yeah.
my 2x4 joke, right, brother? I've told you before. One time we're at this big, huge crowd. Everybody was going crazy. I had my 2x4. I'm stomping down to the ring. I got this giant splinter in my thumb. Big, huge splinter. And I went, oh. People say, is that where the hole come from? I said, yeah, wrestler's honor.
No, the hoe came from a strip club in Tampa. Well,
I got my lumber in my hand. I fire up. Where's Hogan now, huh? Where's Hogan now? I'm not a hard man to find, big guy. I still got one match left in me. Come on down. Bring that stick you carry around. Bring your big old butt to the ring, and I'll take you to the shed, tough guy. Oh!
All right, man. And
Jesus.
another splinter. Man, what a way to end the show this time. That's going to do it for this week. It's a perfect way to wrap us up. And look, at the top of the show there, guys, I listed a bunch of towns that Jim's going to be in. If you can't make it to one of the towns that Jim's in, but you want some signed merchandise, Jim, again, they got to go to hacksawjimdugganshop.com, right?
2x4s, 8x10s. We got cards, all kinds of stuff. It's not quite like Jake. Jake's got like Walmart. He's got all kinds of stuff on there. I got to probably put a few more things on, but 2x4s, the wrestling buddies I threw over there. But and this didn't be going well. So, folks, thanks very much, and get them while you can.
All stuff signed and personalized if you want it from Hacksaw Jim Duggan himself. So, again, it's hacksawjimdugganshop.com. Check that out. Also, get Jim on Cameo, cameo.com/Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Man, you hear all the personality that Jim has here on the show. He brings all that fun with him whenever he does a cameo, too. So, go out. Father's Day is coming up. What a great gift for your dad, right, Jim?
Well, I think you just gave me a shot there, didn't you, brother?
I don't know. What did I say? I might have.
It's something about what I bring to the thing. No, I do have fun. I have fun on cameos, man. I have fun wherever I go. Are you kidding? Life's short. Enjoy it while you can.
So get over there. Again, it's cameo.com/hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, I love taking these listener questions. We have a bunch left. So yeah, seriously, guys, tune in next time. You might hear yours on it. And Jim, I'm looking forward to the next episode because I'm planning on talking to you a little bit about Legends House here in June.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I got some Legend House stories. Are you kidding? And Pipe's gone, so you can only hear my side of it.
That's right. This will be the definitive edition about Legends House now. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this week, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Hacksaw Hour.
Oh.